so we can talk to Steve and Brad.
Bye.
That's not it. Alright, I'm off back to play, chat.
What is that?
Let's go.
And Shinobi. He's back in
I think there was not enough target calling.
Okay,
I think
so let's go one by one. Dylan, what do you think went wrong? Or what do you think about that game? Not necessarily what went wrong.
The map or the whole game in general?
Easy.
Well.
Oh, that's
Steve doesn't want to hear
pretty
any of it. Steve does not care. Well, he was lagging. He probably just had another little like spike. Like, dude. So, I'm the party leader now, boys. I have all the power.
I think our shot calling or
Alright, Steve's back.
oh wait, I'm just gonna wait
Wait,
first.
Dylan first.
Dylan. Yeah, okay, I'm last, I
Go.
guess.
Okay, back. Steve here.
In the last on
Route 66 specifically.
I think it was a complete lack of coordination. Like we called out at one point I remember we called out the Reaper, and then I went to the Reaper.
Overall sloppiness. Like, we probably shouldn't have run Winston as much as we did tonight. In total. Due to
I
the
think
fact
Dive
that
was
Yeah, go.
Dive was working well. We just kept fighting 5v6s for some reason. Like we'd lose a person, and then they'd pop an ult, and instead of backing off, we'd be like, "Oh, we can push in."
Yeah, you ran dive. Right, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna talk about something. We ran dive on attack, but a defense dive would have really worked against like at the start. But they ran Bastion, no shield, and they had a Genji, and dive would have been really effective against them first.
But we didn't know
defense.
that we're gonna run a Bastion.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
didn't switch.
We also had Reaper as well, though.
We had one fight on defense or two fights. We won the first fight if I remember right. And then,
Right, John.
Is it my turn to speak now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the shot calling and like the team comms swapping and like the target calling was bad. Like I called out the ults, but like some fights I didn't. And the time one time I called out the Reaper ult and I still didn't hide off by the Reaper and I got killed by that blossom. Even then, when I knew he had ult. And two other people died, I think.
I'll take that as a no. Right, IDP.
People didn't take their roles up. Like, you know how there's a shot caller? I'm not trying to like hurt, like, I barely heard shot calling, and I try to be as quiet as possible, because I know if somebody speaks over you, when you're a shot caller, you don't want to be like, what's the word, rude or anything, but because people were speaking when it wasn't their turn to speak, like, if we were diving in, somebody who is, not, John, you didn't do it, but see if you know how you called out ults, you'd be saying it when we're diving, but you didn't do it. It'd be kind of like that, and because of that, our comms were fucked up, and because of that, our coordination was fucked up, and it all just went downhill because of our coordination.
Right, is that it? Right, I'm gonna say, definitely we were all over the place. John was on the first defense. John, you were over on the right, where like an Anna or a Mercy should be, and you were Moira. So you could only heal that person with you, and you couldn't heal all the people on the
That's
girls.
because
So
somebody
that
asked
was
me
the
to do
point.
that. That was the point.
The
And
soldier and the
I just fucked
Moira
up my
heal for each
jump.
other, and the Moira can heal because she has a roll. Whereas if you put a Lucio over there, he can't heal.
Yeah, and you guys
Yeah, but
needed like really heal, so I tried to jump up and I fucked up my fade jump.
But then we didn't win the fight, so the heals, and because people died, so the heals weren't really enough.
In
So,
fairness, I wouldn't blame that on the healers. Jamie didn't call that he was dived. He's already like 10 HP when I got over there.
Yeah.
then for the attack, I want to say, we had John on Zen,
Yeah,
which is
John
usually the
Zen and
person
then
IDP
Silver on
plays,
Mercy.
and then
Yeah.
IDP on Mercy, so the rolls are a bit backwards. And just I'm not really gonna judge your like freaking playstyle of Mercy or Zen because you don't really usually play them characters, so but there were a few mistakes. Uh, Dylan, instead of backing out, you went for a back cap and then you've died, then basically just staggered. And
Because they were on the hill.
about it.
They were on the hill, and I wouldn't have been able to get past them. So I decided to stop the point from moving backwards, and then die that way, rather than just diving into their team.
Anybody else wanna? Until Steve joins back, if he does.
Yeah, we need to get Steve back, to be honest, so he can hear all this.
Just uncoordinate. We want to coordinate basically. That's
We're
the
just
biggest
sloppy,
thing.
to be honest, all
Yeah, and
night.
I normally
Yeah.
call the ults like in the middle of fights instead of like after fight and in start of the fight.
Yeah, and that probably clouded up comms a lot more, and then that led to the lack of communication with comms and whatnot.
But I think I was like one of the only ones who communicated. I mean, I like almost never
Would you
heard
guys agree?
when to
Yeah.
who to dive or when to dive. Like when I heard or someone call out the target, it was because like another guy said to the person that you have to call it out, and that's when they call it out when somebody says so instead
Yeah,
of actually
Steve
doing
said
it.
that to me. That was happening in Oasis. The shot caller wasn't calling targets.
I think we should do 2 shot callers
In case the
Right.
one
rather
dies.
than just one, because we're not used.
And then in case one guy dies and like the other's alive, but if they both die, somebody else has to take the role. Like
Right, so John, your comms are good because the team said they're good as well. So your comms don't need any fixing.
without maybe like doing it
thing.
after a fight or in start of the fight instead of like
Yeah.
middle.
Just during the fight, we need to concentrate on target prioritization and such.
Yeah, we didn't really like call it out anyways, but like
And then and if you're calling out ults and such, it's kind of cluttering chat, which we need to be clear for the shot callers to call shots and to direct the team somewhere.
And some people spoke over each other. That's what got me like confused. That's why I
Yeah.
barely, you know, when people are like, "Yeah, I called out this," like I can't hear them, you know, because they probably said it during. It was either their fault for speaking over someone or the other way about.
I think it's when we get into fights, we
Everybody
become
panics.
frantic and panicked and we lose our composure.
Sometimes the tanks don't even push in; they just wait for a pick. Like,
Yeah.
but that's situational. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that was what we were going for, because they were overextended. But then we'd push in and we'd say push in and no one followed.
That game, I'd say when that Reaper got too aggressive, that was good, but like that Oasis was not good at all. That Reaper Ray
I
formed
think
on us and we didn't kill
The
him.
Reaper wasn't a problem on Oasis, especially on when we started playing Orisa Hog. He wasn't, because he was dead every fight.
it wasn't really, like
After he got,
he
like,
was on
3
us, and then
kills, yeah.
they won the fight.
No,
He was there by himself. Then his team joined in.
that Reaper did very little.
From my perspective, he
I'd
did quite a
have
bit.
to disagree with that,
He had
though.
ult every single, like we fed a lot, and that Reaper always had his ultimate.
Yeah, and on Route
Are
66,
you, which Oasis are you talking about? The first point or the second?
Second.
I think
The
first as well.
second one, when we switched to Orisa Hog, he was hooked and dead almost every fight.
First fight though, he was doing.
Not first fight, I picked him out.
No,
I've got the VOD to show you.
First fight,
That's 'cause we were playing
their ults were
dive.
80. Then second fight, they all had their ults. We just fed a lot.
I mean, I don't know why we were playing dive so much against clearly.
Because dive's our best comp.
Yeah, but against a Reaper though, who was clearly not.
Reaper isn't a counter to dive.
he is.
No, he's not.
Against the
regardless whether he
Winston.
was or not,
And
he
he's
was
a
doing
counter
it
to-
versus our
He's a
competition,
counter to Winston.
Yeah, and
which is
the
a part of
Winston is
dive.
normally like,
And
The
Winston
one who
has how
dives.
much more mobility than Reaper?
No, but I was saying right there, like, Winston was it. The only time that Reaper counters Winston is when he's gripped up with his team.
Yeah.
And that Reaper was just all over the place. So Winston
Yeah, he
could
was
still
still
die.
getting damage off, and he was still
Yeah.
getting kills off, regardless whether he was with or without the team.
Because he wasn't being punished by the... Okay, so, fair enough, I agree. Winston can't punish a Reaper. But in a dive comp, it's not Reaper's fault.
But then, like, you should have known that the composition was working and maybe switched sooner. Because I think you probably sticked on it too long. And then by that point, they were at like 80% by the time you probably switched.
I'm gonna go
I
off,
think it was
guys.
just overall a bad day.
It was just bad.
Just one lucky.
Yeah.
Every
guys-
team's gonna have
I
like their own
definitely,
days.
underperformed today.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
as
it was
well-
their entire team that allowed him to pull off the shenanigans that he was doing.
Yeah.
Because our supports were dead every time the fight started. Like, and that was their team doing that.
Yeah.
So, why I think dive didn't really work as well is because it's when we won dive, me and Dylan usually like have the most energy, so it could have been a bit weird having to, you know, somebody might play a bit differently or be a bit less aggressive or more aggressive or everybody has a different play style, so that's what
I don't know.
There's
It's
always
just a
gonna have
learning
backfires as
experience.
well. Alright, well, I guess we're going off then.
see you boys.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah.
Was that a fucking guy? Oh no.